back over to the shop where we're about to do some more upgrades to our black GT Fox body turbo here. It's nice and cold and snowy in Ohio, but that doesn't stop us from working on our Fox bodies. That's one way to get it straight. I guess that's one way to get it straight. I'm on the film and he's over here doing burnouts in my garage on my left. Cousin Paul to the rescue. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So me and Cousin Paul are over here. We're going to be wrenching down on the black car. We got a Precision 7675 turbo going on here. One of the issues we've had with the 363 this year is we've had a lot of back pressure. One of the ways that we're going to try to alleviate some of that back pressure is with a new housing. Unfortunately, the 7675 Precision turbo, which is my favorite turbo, doesn't come with a large variety of larger exhaust housings. But before we get into all that, let me explain about back pressure. How a turbo system actually works is it takes the exhaust pressure from both sides of the heads, it brings it into this turbine housing. This turbine housing spins on the back side of the turbo. The exhaust energy from the back side of the turbo spins the front side of the turbo, creating air that cycles back into your engine. Rule of thumb is you want to have your boost equal to the amount of pressure that you have on the back of your turbo. Problem is when you run too small of a housing in a larger cubic inch motor, you tend to get a lot of back pressure issues, which could eventually end up being cracking your headers, messing up your valve train, and even just blowing out various parts of your turbo system. So it's just a lot of pressure. I run a large wastegate, which is a big 66 millimeter wastegate, which I showed you in this video here. Having a larger 66 millimeter wastegate allows for the system to get a lot of the back pressure out of the system. Rule of thumb is you want to have 1-to-1 ratio. The way it's explained to me is you want, if you have 15 pounds in the front on the compressor side, you want 15 pounds of back pressure in the back. So it's kind of equal out. Problem is I have a small housing here. I have a 0.96 AR turbine housing on the back, which means that all my exhaust energy is kind of bottlenecked. That's the best way to put it. By putting a larger exhaust housing on the back side of the turbo, will allow the turbo to actually not get backed up into the system and allow it to flow, maybe freeing up a little bit of horsepower. That's what we're looking to try to do here. Precision Turbo does not offer a larger exhaust housing for the backside of our 7675 turbo. AGP, there was a company, AGP, that actually does. So they actually created a housing that actually fits up to the 7675 Precision. Like the Gen 1 that I have has a 127. This is actually a 127, so 1.27 AR. So it's larger than the 0.96 that's on there, if I'm doing my math correctly. And it's a really nice, it's a really nice piece of product here. So big shout to AGP. They also have other turbos there as well, like Precision, Turbonetics, Borg Warner. I think Garrett's up there. So there's a number of turbos. They've sent us a couple housings to check on our turbos, and we're going to see how well this fits. So this is something we've been meaning to do. We've actually been waiting for Precision to release their Gen 1 turbine housings for a while, but that seemed to have not, happened. So big shout out to AGP for making this. You can get one for about 300 bucks. So if you got a lot of back pressure in your system and you run a dual exhaust, or you run like an exhaust system with your 7675 Gen 1 turbo, You know, there's a couple options there for turbine housing. Pretty sure we're going to be able to make a little more power, at least be able to turn up the boost a little bit with the exhaust already on it. All right, so we got the housing exposed here. You see how much smaller it is compared to the other one. So we might have a little bit of clearance issues here. That's what I'm kind of worried about. It's definitely going to be tight. It's a bigger housing, as you can see. Might have to modify our inlet hose here. I don't know. Might have to come up and then kind of go into that. But this is this is something that's definitely needed. This is 100%. You know. Well, that's what happens when you heat it up and got a lot of heat cycles on it. It is what it is. Bros. Well, we're almost out. About an hour later. Yep, every one of them sheared. Third one's under there. We got a fourth one to get out. Broke the V-band. That's what happened when you put all the heat and pressure on it. Took apart a bunch of more stuff than we wanted to. But it is what it is, boys. Yep, just like everything else. She was burning good though, huh? How's that go? Yeah. How's it go? Yep. Are you making cat noises?
Yeah. So I haven't even watched YouTube.
Did you get that?
No.
I did.
Did you?
Guess I should have just took the battery off, huh?
Yeah.
How fun is that?
Happened. We're good.
All right, guys. So, in all seriousness, this was a pain in the ass to get out. As you can see, the housing. What we're going to end up doing is disconnecting. You're going to see me disconnect this turbo from this housing, be able to get a chance to see the internal of it for the most part. But you know, you can see how much difference in size the turbo is. You know, like I said, this is a 127 housing, and this is a 96, the original precision one. And this is made by AGP, so this is supposed to be a direct fit for this specific turbo. What we're about to do is throw it up in there and see how well that mates up. This was leaking right here. Did you see that? Mm-hmm. So this is an old B&G kit that we had purchased a while back. It looks like it's gonna actually fit. Look at that, dude. Without me changing anything on the downpipe. Nice and mated up against it for the most. It'll move a little bit because there's a flex coupler underneath. So the only other clearance issue that we're kind of worried about possibly is the cold side here. Cold side pipe coming up through here. We might have to modify that, but this will definitely help relieve a majority of our back pressure in our system, at least for a single turbo. Maybe you'll be able to make a little more power on the same amount of boost because there's not so backed up, because you can only do so much with a bottlenecked system. Yeah, so I'm gonna switch over and switch these housings. All right, so now we could actually get to these little little bolts down here underneath. Shoot, did I move it already? Okay. We're gonna make some marks, you know, just to kind of give us an idea of where we're at. Try to make it as close as possible. So this plate right here, we'll get a little, bring that Never Seas, the Tin Man solution. The Tin Man sunblock. You guys curious of what turbo we're running? That's the one we're running right there. 7675 Gen 1. Cool. Not so cool. So upon further inspection, I think we got a little bit of an issue here, but we're gonna check it out anyways. As you can see, looks like something kind of got up in the turbine housing. A little piece of metal or something came off and tore it up. I don't know. So this is the other turbo. There's definitely like a turn to it.
This is just a cheap little turbo we had on the shelf.
I need to send it to Precision and let them look at it. I mean, it definitely looks like either. All right, guys, so that's really unfortunate. We were bound to find that out anyways. Pretty sure I'm gonna get a hold of Precision and they're gonna tell me to send that back in, which isn't a big deal, but now we're looking at, you know, 2 to 3 weeks turnaround time, and I think it's about like $700 to replace one of those, or to have it rebuilt, because I had my other one rebuilt that's on my white car. Got to get done anyways. Black car's out of commission for a little bit. I mean, it ran good. It did what we needed it to do, but these are some of the unfortunate things that you find out about cars like this. You know, when you're boosting them, you know, maintenance is a normal. You know, this is some of the issues that you might have. We knew we had pretty excessive back pressure. We knew that we left, you know, boost and horsepower on the table. You know, we tried to, you know, alleviate some of that, getting a bigger housing, which would have definitely helped out quite a bit. But something got into our turbo kit that we don't know what it could be. It wasn't the crossover pipe. It wasn't, because we eliminate the flex coupler in the middle of all of our turbos. I know I still got to do it on my white car, but you know, most of them, you know, they're gone. So something, I don't know, we did modify it and put a big 66 millimeter wastegate on it like I showed you earlier. So maybe something could have came out of there and, you know, maybe would have, you know, messed around. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. If you're running a turbo system, that's one of the things you need to check, because that's actually not the first time we found something getting in our turbo system from our crossover or header or whatever. Just a piece of metal inside the turbo system gets so much pressure. Like, this is what we were just talking about. That's what this whole video was about, was back pressure. And that's definitely one of the results from too much back pressure. I'm gonna pretty much say that. I think if we would have had the other housing on there, it wouldn't have been so bad, but whatever. Anyways, guys, that's all I got for you for this this video. If you guys enjoy this sort of content, leave me a thumbs up. Check that join button below. Join the club membership today. I encourage you guys to check it out. Outside of that, I just appreciate everybody for watching. We will see you soon in another video.